There was a place during World War II that officially did not exist on any maps and wasn't mentioned in public records, yet thousands of people entered it and never came out. That place was Unit 731. In the 1930s, Japan occupied parts of China, including Manchuria. There, the Japanese military built a heavily guarded compound. Locals were told it was a water purification and disease prevention facility. The Japanese military began collecting people from nearby villages, often telling them they would be given labor work inside the facility. Some of them were taken forcefully by the Japanese military without any explanation. Men, women, children, even pregnant women were taken inside. Those taken by force had no idea what was going to happen to them, or why they were there. Once inside Unit 731, no one was ever released. Most families never found out what happened to them. Now comes the most terrifying part of Unit 731. This unit existed only for one reason: to understand how the human body breaks under extreme conditions, and for the purpose of biological and chemical warfare. The people taken inside were deliberately exposed to deadly diseases, not to cure them, but to observe how they died. Doctors recorded how disease progressed in real time. Others were subjected to extreme cold to study frostbite. They placed prisoners' hands and legs in a tub of water filled with ice and held them there until the limbs were solid, frozen, and leaving the prisoners untreated, to see how long does it take for the prisoners to recover. Operations were performed inside Unit 731 without anesthesia to study pain and organ function. Organs were then removed for examination before death. It was performed on thousands of victims, mostly Chinese communist prisoners, as well as children and elderly farmers. Some prisoners were used to test weapons like grenades, flamethrowers, and chemical agents. These tests resulted in the deaths of thousands of prisoners. They locked many prisoners in cages to study how long humans will survive without food and water. Female prisoners of childbearing age were forcibly impregnated so that weapon and trauma experiments could be done on them. And then, they were opened up without anesthesia to study the effects on the fetuses. All these experiments were done without anesthesia because pain was considered a main study. All of this was documented. Victims were not treated as people. They were treated as test subjects. In this experiment, more than 14,000 people were killed inside Unit 731. Men, women, children, pregnant ladies. They experimented on everyone in many ways, giving them hell on earth. This was not random cruelty, it was state-funded research. Unit 731 was created, funded, and protected by the Japanese Imperial Army. Its purpose was not punishment, it was experimentation. Japan was preparing for modern warfare, and biological weapons were seen as the future. Unlike bullets or bombs, diseases will spread silently, wipe out cities and leave no trace of attack. Human beings were used because animals were considered unreliable. By 1945, World War II was collapsing around Japan. Japan was fighting on multiple fronts against China, the United States, and the Soviet Union. Then, in August 1945, everything changed. The United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hundreds of thousands were killed. At the same time, they invaded the Japanese-occupied Manchuria, where Unit 731 was located. Then, Japan announced its surrender and immediately given orders to destroy everything inside Unit 731. Documents, researches, studies, and even the remaining prisoners. Everything was burned. Buildings were dismantled and blown up. All the doctors and scientists were fled away. Then U.S. military intelligence began investigating the areas and learned about Unit 731 and what they had been doing. American officials feared that if these scientists were put on trial, their research would be lost or shared with rivals. So they captured some of doctors and scientists from Unit 731. And instead of prosecuting everyone, a deal was made, quietly and secretly. The United States offered immunity to many Unit 731 scientists. In exchange, the scientists handed over their research data collected from human experimentation to US officials. In the end, not a single person was put on trial. The doctors and scientists were allowed to return to their normal life. Some went on to become respected doctors, university professors, medical researchers. However, the victims remained anonymous. The Unit 731 was erased from public history, not because the evidence was weak, but because the evidence was considered too valuable to destroy. Unit 731 was not a rumor, not propaganda, not exaggeration. It was a real place, run by real doctors, funded by a real government, and thousands of people died there. Unit 731 proved something terrifying. Not how cruel humans can be, but how easily cruelty becomes acceptable. When it's useful,